Have you ever felt like a stranger in your own home, like you were born into the wrong family, that deep, unshakable feeling that you don't belong, that you speak a different emotional language, that your sensitivity is a curse in a house of chaos? It's that quiet ache of being the weird one, the too sensitive one, the observer in a room full of actors who don't know they're on stage. Now, hold that feeling for a moment. We've been taught that this is a flaw, a piece of bad luck, a cosmic mistake. What if I told you that feeling is not a mistake? It is a signal. It is the first whisper of your soul's awakening. And the environment that caused you the most pain was, in fact, the perfect, brutal, and divine classroom for your evolution. This is the truth nobody tells you. The most evolved souls are not given the worst families as a punishment. They are assigned to them as a mission. Let's dismantle the first and greatest lie, the lie of randomness. The universe is a field of infinite intelligence. It does not roll dice with souls. There are no accidents, only assignments. Think of the universe as the most profound school imaginable. In this school, you don't learn algebra or history. You learn consciousness, love, and truth. Now, ask yourself, where do the most advanced students get sent? To the easiest classrooms? No. They are enrolled in the most difficult, advanced placement courses. Your toxic family was your AP class in awakening. A soul that slumbers can drift through a comfortable life, but a soul destined to awaken needs a catalyst. Comfort never wakes anyone up. Pain does. Pain is the universe's most effective alarm clock. It shakes you by the shoulders and screams, "Wake up. There is more to you than this dream." Why would light be born in darkness? Because that is the only place where light is needed. That is the only place where its purpose becomes clear. The philosopher Alan Watts gave us the key when he said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Your family environment, with all its chaos, neglect, and emotional coldness, was not a wall built to block your light. It was the precise crack in your shell that allowed the light to first break through. The soul that feels everything, that questions everything, is not cursed. It is being deliberately, meticulously shaped. In a world asleep, it takes fire to awaken. You were not placed in a peaceful garden. You were placed in a forge, and a forge is not a place of destruction for the metal that can endure it. It is a place of purification. Gold is purified in intense heat. Diamonds are created under immense pressure, and the awakened soul is forged in the chaos it did not choose, but was chosen for. The brutal truth: your pain was not your punishment. It was your purpose. Your suffering wasn't meant to destroy you, but to awaken a strength and a clarity within you that comfort could never have inspired. Your family is not your enemy. They are your first and most powerful mirror. This mirror doesn't always show you a pretty picture. In fact, it often shows you a distorted, fractured reflection. But within that distortion lies your first lesson. The awakened soul grows up surrounded by misunderstanding. Love feels conditional. Affection is laced with control. Silence becomes a weapon. You are surrounded by unconsciousness, and it is this very proximity to unconsciousness that jolts you into awareness. You start to see what love isn't. This is the principle of contrast. You cannot understand light until you have known darkness. You cannot truly comprehend healthy love until you have witnessed its toxic counterfeit. Your family's dysfunction becomes a living textbook, illustrating the cost of living asleep. You begin to see the patterns, the anger passed from father to son, the fear inherited from mother to daughter, the guilt traveling silently through generations like a ghost. You don't just feel this pain, you begin to study it. Why are they like this? Why can't they love properly? Why does it all feel so heavy? These questions are not acts of rebellion. They are the first sparks of your awakening. They are the birth of the observer within you. As Alan Watts profoundly noted, you do not understand yourself by running away from your family. You understand yourself by observing what they reflect within you. When you stop fighting the mirror and start reading its message, everything changes. You realize their pain was never personal. Their anger wasn't really about you. It was the overflow of their own unhealed stories. Their manipulation wasn't about controlling you. It was about soothing their own deep-seated emptiness. This is the moment of liberation, when you see that your family's dysfunction is not your identity. It is your initiation. The moment you understand that, you stop trying to change them and start the real work of transforming yourself. You were not born to repeat their pain. You were born to recognize it, and in doing so, rise above it. Suffering is the sand in the oyster, irritating, painful, and seemingly pointless. But to the awakened soul, that same suffering becomes the substance that creates a pearl. Every moment of rejection, every heartbreak, every night you cried alone was not meaningless hardship. It was initiation. It was your soul's curriculum. When you are hurt by those who were supposed to love you, you are forced inward. Pain shatters the superficial illusions of the world. It makes you ask the deep questions. Why does love hurt? Why does kindness disappear? This inward journey is where awareness is born. You start to realize that love without awareness becomes control, that care without consciousness turns into manipulation. This wisdom isn't found in books. It is etched into your being by surviving emotional fire. Alan Watts distinguished this perfectly. To suffer without understanding is hell. To suffer and see through it is awakening. This is the great alchemy. You stop being the victim of your story and become the witness of your own evolution. You begin to see that every heartbreak was polishing your soul. The heat didn't destroy you, it revealed your resilience. You start to notice your own growth, how you now protect your peace, how you respond to chaos with calm, how you choose silence over a meaningless argument. This self-awareness is proof that your suffering has served its purpose. It has refined your raw energy into profound wisdom. The more you can sit with your pain without running, the more power you gain over it. You understand that your feelings are not enemies. They are messengers guiding you back to your core, your truth. Fire doesn't destroy metal, it refines it. You are that metal. Every trial you survived has made you more radiant, more resilient, and more real. There is an invisible inheritance that passes through families. It's not money or land, it's pain, unprocessed anger, unnamed fears, and unhealed guilt travel down the bloodline like a silent curse. Most people never see it, they just live it and repeat it. But you see it. That act of seeing is a sacred rebellion. Awareness itself is the first crack in the chain of generational trauma. You are not here to continue your family's story of suffering. You are here to end it. The moment you recognize the pattern, you are faced with a choice: to become the next carrier of the pain, or to become the transformer of it. Your parents were not villains. They were prisoners of their own unhealed wounds, acting out a script they didn't write. As Alan Watts said, you are under no obligation to be who you were yesterday. This is your mantra as a cycle breaker. You are free to choose anew. You start making choices from consciousness, not conditioning. You respond with wisdom instead of reactive anger. Breaking the chain doesn't mean hating your family. It means loving yourself enough to refuse to carry a burden that was never yours to bear. It means releasing the weight of inherited pain and turning it into awareness. Healing is often a quiet revolution. It's the choice to stop yelling and start understanding. It's forgiving, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve the freedom that forgiveness brings. Every time you choose compassion over resentment, you heal a wound from the past. Every time you respond with calm instead of chaos, you rewrite the future of your lineage. You are not your family's wound. You are its remedy. You are the turning point. The past may have shaped you, but it no longer defines you. The chain ends with you. So we arrive at the ultimate revelation, the brutal, beautiful reason for it all. The universe places the most conscious souls in the darkest environments, not to break them, but because they are the only ones strong enough to hold the light there. You were sent into that family not as a victim, but as a healer. You were the observer in the chaos, the calm in the storm, the consciousness born within the confusion. Your family was the test. You are the answer. Their chaos was the challenge your soul accepted long before you took your first breath. You came to bring light where others only repeated darkness. You came not to suffer, but to learn how to transform suffering into strength. Alan Watts captured the essence of it. The meaning of life is just to be alive. The awakened soul learns to be alive, fully and consciously, not in spite of the pain, but because of the profound wisdom and depth it bestowed. You walked through the fire and emerged not burned, but illuminated. You turned what was meant to break you into the very reason you became unbreakable. Your story is not one of tragedy. It is a story of evolution. You are the alchemist of your own life, turning the lead of inherited pain into the gold of conscious awareness. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. You are the light that now shines unmistakably and unignorably, precisely because you learned to shine in the darkest of places. That was the mission all along, and you are succeeding. Here is the most painful paradox of awakened souls. You came from love, seeking love, yet found yourself in an environment where love was conditional, manipulative, or entirely absent. This is not a failure. It is your most crucial lesson in redefining what love truly is. In toxic families, love gets twisted into a transaction. It becomes a tool for control disguised as care. You heard, "I love you," but felt the unspoken conditions. If you obey, if you make me look good, if you don't contradict me, this is not love, this is attachment, a cage painted to look like a sanctuary. The awakened soul learns, through sheer emotional survival, that real love does not cage, it liberates. It does not demand obedience, it nurtures growth. But to understand this truth in your bones, you had to experience its opposite. Your painful relationships became the mirror showing you the stark difference between compassion and self-sacrifice. This is where the most spiritually mature act comes in, setting boundaries. Most people see boundaries as walls, as rejection. The awakened soul knows they are the foundation of self-respect. They are not about pushing people away. They are about honoring your own energy, your own peace, your own spirit. Alan Watts captured the essence of free will when he said, "You can only love completely when you are free to leave." Let that sink in. True love and true freedom are inseparable. The moment you grasped this, your entire understanding of relationships transformed. You stopped seeking validation from those who only valued your compliance. You realized that love without respect is not love at all. It is dependency. This leads to the hardest, yet most empowering, spiritual lesson. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to walk away. Staying in a dynamic that destroys your spirit is not loyalty, it is self-betrayal. Walking away is not a failure of love, but an act of it, a profound commitment to protecting the sacred ground of your own awakening. You learn to say no without shame. You choose silence over futile arguments. You prefer solitude to the price of fake peace. This is not coldness. This is spiritual adulthood. Love with boundaries is the only love that is real. It is the balance where deep compassion meets unwavering self-protection. You learn to care deeply without losing yourself, to give generously from a cup that you also keep full. Those who truly love you will honor your boundaries. Those who resist them reveal that what they wanted was not you, but your surrender. In this clarity, you are freed. You no longer confuse tolerance with love, or endurance with loyalty. You begin to love from a place of fullness, not fear. And in doing so, you finally embody the very love you were once seeking from others. You become the source. There comes a sacred turning point in the journey of every awakened soul, a moment of profound silence where the screaming pain of the past finally transforms into a whisper of wisdom. This is not an end point, but a new beginning. This is the moment you stop being a student of suffering and become a master of alchemy, turning the base metal of your inherited pain into the gold of eternal peace. You begin to look back at your story not with resentment, but with a strange, quiet gratitude. The chaos that once threatened to drown you now appears as the very current that taught you to swim. The rejection that once shattered your heart became the very cracks that allowed your true self to emerge. You realize, with breathtaking clarity, that every single moment was necessary. The darkness was not your enemy, it was the contrast that made your light visible. Alan Watts perfectly described this transformation. The crack is where the light gets in. Your wounds were never meant to be hidden in shame. They are sacred portals. Every scar is a testament to your resilience, a line in the scripture of your soul's evolution. The breakdowns you survived were, in truth, breakthroughs. The shadow you feared was, in fact, your greatest teacher. This is the final alchemy, when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and instead understand, "This happened for me." Your family, as difficult as they were, did not place limits on you. They revealed to you the incredible depths of your own strength. Without their emotional neglect, you might never have learned the vital art of self-love. Without their chaos, you might never have discovered the unshakable peace that resides within you. Without their rejection, you might never have forged your own unwavering self-worth. This is the great paradox of the awakened path. The very things that were meant to break you become the reasons you are unbreakable. Transformation is not about erasing your past. It is about reclaiming it. It is about gathering every broken piece, the shame, the anger, the feelings of unworthiness, and assembling them into a masterpiece of awareness. You stop carrying your story as a heavy burden and start wearing it as a crown of wisdom. And then, a beautiful shift occurs. You begin to feel a deep, genuine empathy for others who are still trapped in the same kind of pain you once knew. This is not pity from a place of superiority. It is compassion from a place of shared humanity. You become the guiding light for others, not because you have all the answers, but because you remember what it was like to wander in the dark. You become the embodiment of the hope you once prayed to find. You realize now that the darkness never truly had any power over you. It was merely the absence of understanding. The moment you shined the light of your own awareness upon it, the shadows vanished, revealing the truth that was there all along. You were never broken. You were being sculpted. The family that wounded you was also the doorway to your awakening. They were not your downfall, they were your initiation. The universe did not punish you with them. It prepared you through them. Your story is not one of victimhood, but of profound evolution. You walked through the fire and emerged not with ashes, but illuminated. You are living proof that awakening is not only possible, but inevitable when a soul is ready to see the purpose in the pain. So, as we conclude this journey, remember this final, ultimate truth. You were not sent here to suffer. You were sent here to awaken. You were not sent here to break. You were sent here to become whole. Your painful beginning was the brutal, necessary, and divine setup for your magnificent becoming. You are the alchemist. You are the cycle breaker. You are the light that now shines all the more brightly for having known the dark. Now that you have walked through the fire and emerged transformed, a new question naturally arises. What comes next? The answer is both a profound responsibility and a glorious freedom. You now get to become the sacred ancestor. Not in the distant future, but right here, right now. You are being called to build a new legacy, not from bloodline, but from soul line. This is where your journey transcends personal healing and becomes a cosmic contribution. The pain you alchemized into wisdom now becomes medicine for the world. The boundaries you learned to set become templates for healthy relationships everywhere you go. The awareness you cultivated becomes a healing frequency that touches everyone in your orbit. You are no longer just healing your past, you are architecting the future. Think of your life as a sacred loom. For generations, the same tangled, dark threads were woven through your family's tapestry. Threads of fear, control, and unresolved pain. You were the first to see the pattern clearly. Now, you hold the shuttle with conscious hands. You begin to weave in new threads. Threads of conscious love, of radical honesty, of emotional freedom. With every choice you make from awareness, you are not just mending the old tapestry. You are creating an entirely new one. This work happens in quiet, moment-to-moment decisions. When you pause before reacting in anger, you are weaving the thread of mindful response. When you choose compassion over judgment, you are weaving the thread of unconditional understanding. When you honor your need for rest instead of pushing through exhaustion, you are weaving the thread of self-respect. Alan Watts reminds us, you are a function of what the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. Your individual transformation is not separate from the healing of the whole. As you change your fundamental patterns, you send ripples through the collective consciousness, making it easier for others to choose awareness. Your legacy will not be measured in material wealth or worldly achievements, but in the quality of consciousness you leave in your wake. It will be evident in the emotional health of the people you touch, in the safe spaces you create, and in the simple, profound ways you demonstrate that another way of living is possible, a way rooted in authenticity rather than obligation, in love rather than fear. Perhaps you will not have children of your own, but you will become a spiritual parent to those seeking guidance. Your words, your calm presence, your unwavering integrity will become the home that others never had. You will provide the mirror of healthy reflection that your own family could not provide for you. In this, you break the cycle not just for your own lineage, but for countless others who cross your path. This is not a burden, but a joy. The weight of generational pain has been lifted, and in its place is the light, purposeful energy of creation. You are now free to define what family, love, and success mean to you. You get to build a chosen family of fellow awakened souls, a tribe that resonates with your frequency. You get to love in a way that is freeing, not binding. The worst family you were born into was, in its painful way, a gift to the world. It forged a healer, a visionary, a pillar of light. The very hardships that were meant to diminish you became the catalysts for your unique and vital contribution. So, step into this role with quiet confidence. You are the sacred ancestor of a new lineage. You are the founder of a new way of being. The struggles of your ancestors did not end with you. They were transformed through you. Their pain was not in vain. It became the fertilizer for a more beautiful world. A world you are now actively co-creating with every conscious breath. Your life is no longer just your own. It is a living sanctuary for every soul still searching for the way home. You are the proof that out of the darkest soil grows the most radiant flower. This is your awakened legacy. This is your eternal peace. We arrive now at the summit of understanding, where all previous revelations merge into a single, breathtaking vista. Here, we discover that the awakened soul's journey is not a linear path from pain to peace, but an eternal, sacred dance between the two. It is in learning to embrace this dance they hold the beautiful, brutal paradox of existence without needing to resolve it, that we find our ultimate freedom. The greatest illusion of the unawakened life is the search for a permanent state of happiness, a final destination where all struggle ceases. The awakened soul comes to realize that this very pursuit is what creates suffering. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the capacity to hold conflict within a vast, unwavering stillness. Light is not the denial of darkness. It is that which makes the darkness visible and in doing so transforms its meaning. Your toxic family was the perfect, imperfect partner in this dance. They provided the friction against which your spirit could spark. They were the discordant note that made you seek the hidden harmony. Without them, the music of your awakening would have lacked depth and dynamism. Can you appreciate the fierce, terrible beauty of this? The very forces that seemed to oppose your light were, in fact, essential to its ignition. Alan Watts, in his profound wisdom, captured the essence of this cosmic play. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. This is the final surrender, to stop fighting the dance and instead become one with its rhythm. It is to look at your past and, instead of seeing a battle you survived, see a dance you finally learned the steps to. Your parents, in their unconsciousness, were dancing to a rhythm of generational pain. You, in your awareness, have now learned a new rhythm. You cannot force them to learn your steps, but you can refuse to be thrown off beat by theirs. This dance is lived in the present moment, in the continuous choice to respond rather than react. It is the practice of seeing the old triggers not as enemies, but as invitations to dance in a new way. When the old melody of "you are not good enough" begins to play in your mind, you do not collapse into the familiar rhythm of shame. Instead, you hear the note, acknowledge its presence, and consciously choose to step to a new beat, the rhythm of self-acceptance. When a family member attempts to pull you into a familiar, toxic pattern, you do not resist with equal force. You gracefully pivot, holding your center, changing the dynamics of the dance by refusing to participate in the old choreography. This is the power you now hold. You are no longer a passive participant in a dance you didn't choose. You are the co-creator of the music and the movement. Your awareness is the conductor of your inner symphony. The beautiful paradox is this: by fully accepting the pain of your past as a necessary part of your soul's curriculum, you transcend it. You do not transcend it by erasing it, but by integrating it. The scar tissue becomes stronger than the original skin ever was. The wisdom gained in the darkness becomes the very light that guides others. Your life becomes a living testament to the fact that the greatest strength is forged in vulnerability. The deepest peace is found at the center of chaos, and the most potent love is born from the conscious choice to love after experiencing its opposite. You are the dance itself, the light and the shadow, the pain and the peace, the wound and the healing. They are not opposites at war within you. They are partners in the exquisite ballet of your becoming. So, let the music play. Let the memories, the lessons, the joys, and the sorrows all move through you. Do not cling to the beautiful moments or resist the painful ones. Simply dance with them all, with the deep, unshakable knowing that every step, every turn, every dip, no matter how awkward or graceful, is perfect and necessary. You are not a soul who had an awakening. You are a soul that is awakening eternally in a universe that is itself awake and dancing through you. This is the end of the search and the beginning of the eternal, glorious dance. Take a breath. Feel the rhythm of your own heart and dance. If you take only one thing from this journey, let it be this: your greatest pain has been the secret keeper of your deepest purpose. Every moment you spent feeling out of place, every tear shed in loneliness, every instance you felt misunderstood, these were not signs of a broken life, but evidence of a soul being prepared for its sacred mission. The world will tell you that your value comes from external achievements, perfect relationships, or societal approval, but your journey through the fire of a difficult family has taught you the radical truth. Your worth is innate, unshakable, and was never up for negotiation. The very experiences that made you question your worth were, in fact, meticulously designed to lead you back to the undeniable truth of your own divine nature. You now stand as living proof of one of life's most beautiful paradoxes. The deepest wounds often birth the greatest healing, both for ourselves and for others. What was once your private pain has now become your universal offering. The compassion you extend to others, the boundaries you honor in yourself, the peace you cultivate in chaos. These are the gifts that were forged in the very crucible you once prayed to escape. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your transformation. By simply choosing to show up as your authentic, healed self, you give others permission to do the same. When you choose peace over drama, you rewrite the script for future generations. When you respond with love where you once would have reacted with fear, you alter the very fabric of your family's legacy. You are not just a product of your past. You are the architect of a new future. The same sensitivity that once made you feel vulnerable is now your greatest superpower, allowing you to sense what others miss, to heal what others ignore, and to love in ways that transform lives. Remember, diamonds are only formed under immense pressure. The struggles you endured weren't meant to crush you, but to reveal the brilliant, multifaceted, unbreakable spirit that you are. You weren't placed in a toxic environment because you were weak. You were placed there because you were the only one strong enough to transform it. So carry this truth in your heart: the light you've been seeking in others, the validation you've been craving from external sources. It has been within you all along. Your difficult family wasn't a life sentence. It was the very initiation you needed to discover this profound truth. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the conscious creator of your reality. You are not defined by your past. You are inspired by your future. You are not just a survivor of a toxic family system. You are the sacred cycle breaker, the lineage healer, the light bearer who has emerged from darkness to show others the way home. Your story isn't ending here, it's just beginning. Now go and shine with the brilliant, unapologetic light that you were always meant to be.